Well, good morning, finally. And welcome to a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus, where we're going to be spending about the next 45 minutes together with a full face makeup tutorial. We're going to try a couple of new products today. So we're going to be working on some beauty on the inside and beauty on the outside. My name is Wendy, and I'm inviting you to join me as I challenge myself to create a flawless fall eyeshadow look using the Juvia's Place Wahala 2 palette. And this is designed perfectly for women over 40. So remember, while we are live, you can ask any question on the platform that you're watching this on, and I will do my best to get that question asked and answered. That could be something about James, where we've been so far in our Bible study and memorization. It could be something about the makeup application or the product that I'm using, whatever. Just make sure to ask that question in that chat, and it should more or less come through to me. All right, so our easy makeup theme for today is: can women over 40 get a flawless fall eye look using the Juvia's Place Wahala 2 palette? Let's see. So go ahead and hit like and subscribe. Grab your lashes, grab your palette, grab your brushes and your false lashes, and then get on back here and let's get going. A little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus. Can't wait. All right, sorry, trying to type a message back in the chat. That's not going to work. So yes, finally right. Woohoo! Yes, Rachel. It has been a beauty of a morning so far. All right, so our foundation verse for this podcast is Psalm 119, verse 11. I have hidden your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that, Anthea. Broken pipes are terrible. I actually had to deal with crushed pipe in my job yesterday. So, hope that gets working and your heating gets working and everything gets working for you. I will do my best to remember to add you to that prayer list later on as we get to the end of the podcast. So, yes, I will cheer you up. I will cheer you up. So, all right, Anthea, so good to see you this morning. And then we got Rachel. Rachel's giving a shout out already this morning. Nice to see you too. Hey, good to have you guys be a little chatty today. All right, so Anthea needs a little bit of cheering up today. She got a lot of things going on in her world. So give me a little bit of a shout out for Anthea, and let's see if we can cheer her up today. All right, so let's see. I've already mentioned that verse, so let's go and look at this. So, session 3. That's not right. Season 3. What word? Season 3 of the podcast. We are working through the book Color Me James, and we are starting chapter 4 today. Can you believe it? I am so excited. I can't believe there's only 48 weeks in this study. We're at 31 now. So the exciting thing is, if you go to colormejamesbook.com, there's an email list that you can get on there, and that will guide you from beginning to end with the study. So if you're just now jumping in, you've just now seen the book on Amazon, you've just now stumbled across a website, whatever the case may be, that email series will guide you through everything, give you all the tutorials, all the flashcards, all the puzzles, everything in a weekly format so that you can, go from beginning to end. Or we're starting chapter 4. You're more than welcome to jump in now. I will tell you, today's a little bit of a spanking though. So, but the song is super cool. I can't wait to hear the song. Okay. Yes, that can happen. It is the Mondayest Thursday already. So that can happen. But the good news is, no matter what happens, you have a friend in Jesus. So, all right. So let's see. I've already said we're working through Color Me James. You've got that there. 3 different formats: ebook, which is a PDF. You've got the paperback version, which is on Amazon, and then the spiral version, which is on my website. Okay, so week before last, we were actually working on this verse, because last week we had the review of chapter 3. So let me get over here. There we go. So this song was called Wisdom That Brings Peace. So let me play that for you. We're going to go. So this song is set up where the top part, the verse 1 is the top part of the verse. Excuse me. The chorus is the conclusion. The second verse is kind of in the middle of that. So we're going to let that play through and enjoy that and sing that through. Man, I've gotten such great feedback back from all the different songs because we're in week 31. We've had 3 review weeks. So, I mean, we're quite a few songs into this. So if you haven't gotten connected to the playlist, make sure you check out Sailor Soul. You can see this little graphic right here. All the song images have these kind of pictures because they're from the book. So be looking for those. I believe it's Sailor Soul Music is where you can find most of that. So let's get that going. Here we go.
Real wisdom, God's wisdom, begins with a holy life, and is characterized by getting along with others. You can develop a healthy, robust community that lives right with God and enjoy its results only if you do the hard work of getting along with each other, treating each other with dignity and honor. It is gentle and reasonable, overflowing with mercy and blessings, not hot one day and cold the next, not too fair. You can develop a healthy, robust community that lives right with God and enjoy its results only if you do the hard work of getting along with each other, treating each other with dignity and honor. Where there's peace, there's power. Peace, there's...
Okay, let me see if I can get it. There we go. Okay, so you can definitely, I think that having the music to that, I find it super helpful because you can actually sing your way through. In fact, sometimes when I'm trying to practice reciting the verse, it's hard to do it without singing the song. Like when you were a kid and you learned different songs in Vacation Bible School, and the verse was in the song, which is actually where our foundation verse of the podcast come from, because that was a song that I did. I actually taught that in Vacation Bible School, and it just stuck with me. I found it to be a powerful verse. So that is the I have hidden your word in my heart. Thump, thump. So that's where that comes from. Okay, so our verse for this week, we are starting chapter 4, like I mentioned just a minute ago. So chapter 4, oh, that's hard to read from here. So, here we go. Okay, so chapter 4, this is going to be your flashcard for this week. A little phone version will come out, so you can use that as your wallpaper to help you with that. But our verse for this week is, where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and fight for it deep inside yourselves. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to kill to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. James 4, 1-2. Let's see if all those words get me Google slapped this week. Violence and wars. Okay, so we are continuing on in our instruction in righteousness and daily living with James, the book of James. And so now we have transferred from, it's talking about killing and violence. And that is referring back to the previous discussion that we had in chapter 1, 2, and 3 about the power of the tongue. You can tame a tiger, but you can't tame the tongue. And so that's another song. This is definitely a continuing thought. There was a lot of quarrels happening in the body of Christ at that time. And so all this spiritual living that he's talking about is really addressing some of the things that were happening in that time. And guess what? Shocker, spoiler alert, it's happening in our time too. So isn't that so true that if we just treated, in last week's verse, if we just treated each other with dignity and respect, how much better would everything be? Your workplace, the world, life in the grocery store, people on the streets having road rage. I think there's just so much that if we practice these things And as believers, if we practice these things, that will sprinkle out in a ripple effect to the world. So we have to start with us. We have to get that right with us. And then that will be a contagion in a positive way to the world around us. Okay, so I've mentioned that we're going to be using the Wahala 2 palette. So you've got that on your screen right there. All of the products that I'm using today, because I mentioned we're doing a couple of new ones today. All of those products can be found on a little bit of makeup and a whole lot of Jesus.com. And you can put in the slash shop and you'll be right there. So that I've tried to make it super easy for you. Again, if you have any questions about any of those while we are, any of the products I'm using while we are live, just ask and I'll do my best to get that answered on here. Okay, so let us start. We got our verse for this week, chapter 4, verse 1 and 2, that's scrolling across your screen. Still looking for a little bit of encouragement for Anthea. So who can give us a Bible verse or a thought or something that's helped you to help? There is no throwing under the bus here. There's a lot of, in fact, if you can't, because you can't see, I'm actually pointing at myself as I was just talking. So yes, it is true. You know, we went through that section that talked about be careful if you want to be a teacher. Becoming a teacher is hard work, my friends. This is so true, because I tell you, as we're going through all this stuff, it is speaking to me as much or more as it is speaking to you. So, oh no, what do we got? Let me X out of here. There we go. 38 degrees Fahrenheit here. Oh no, that is very cold. That 38 degrees, very cold. I'm so sorry you don't have heat. You know what? Let's just stop for a second and pray for Anthea to get her heat working. That's just a hard thing to do. Let's see. Job on a broken part. Just I'm trying to relax. One of my heating isn't working. New problem to solve. Oh no. Okay, so we got a plumbing issue and we've got a heating issue. So Heavenly Father, I just pray right now where we are that I know we're across oceans, we're on different continents and all of that, but that doesn't matter because you are omnipresent. You are everywhere at the same time. Isn't that marvelous that you can do things that we can't do? And we're calling on that right now, Father, that you would do a thing that we can't do, that you would put a divine intervention, send her some brilliant individual to come fix her pipes and to come fix her heat. It is cold out there, Father. Keep her warm. Help her to be safe, protect her, send her the experts she needs to resolve this situation in a timely fashion. Father, just wrap your arms around her and give her comfort and encouragement now in this time of, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine two big things like that, Father. Just a time of, tumult and disappointment and freezing cold. I just pray that you would protect her and encourage her just now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. And yes, God cares about everything that happens to us, no matter how big or small it may seem to somebody else, or even to your own self. Okay, so we're going to start out. Got the verse crawling across the bottom of the screen. Oh, it looks like I have disconnected up here, so let me get back on there. Okay, we'll let that do its thing. So I mentioned a couple of new products. So here's what we are going to be starting with because, well, no, actually, before I jump in there, let's go ahead and get our face primed and then we're going to play with that. So I have got the Professional Primer and this is from Benefit Cosmetics. We're just going to give that a little bit of a shake. And no, I did not cut my mohawk. She just laying sideways today because we got a lot of humidity where I am. So we're doing a curly hair side over thing. So, okay. So there we go. Between your fingers. This is going to go everywhere. Any place you experience product separation. Maybe things just don't stick the way you would like. You got fine lines and wrinkles, little crow's feet. There we go. Absolutely, Anthea. It is great to have you here, and I love your comments, your feedback, and I treasure you as my sister in Christ. All right, so we're going to be using some kind of fun things today on our lid. So we're definitely going to be priming today. So I've got the Juvia's Place I Prep I Prime. This is the shade 1. We're just going to give that a little bit right here. That's actually a little bit much. Try to get a little less than that. We're going to work that right there between those middle fingers. And that's going to go on our eyelids. It doesn't matter if it's messy because you're fixing with concealer and foundation and everything on there. So we're just going to go from the inside corner all the way up to that eyelid. Okay, I did get a little carried away today. Maybe not that carried away. I told you that was a lot of concealer, primer. Okay, so we got that going on. Now we are going to try. Now we're to the place where we can try a new product. So I brought something for you. The link will be in the show notes here in just a minute. Okay, I got this right here. So I waited for you to open it. There you go. I feel like a little kid at Christmas. This is the You Can Be multi-use face palette. So this is a 4-in-1. Oh, maybe I should have actually opened it though. Okay, so it comes shrink wrapped. There we go. Okay. There we go. You got a little sleeve that it's in. I'm dropping things all over the place over here. So here's what we got. You ready? Somebody drum roll. Can I see some drum rolls in the chats? Let me see some drum rolls in the chats. Here we go. Drum rolls in the chats. Ah! Oh, there's a little thing in the way. Hold on. There we go. So, what have we got in this delicious palette? We got everything you need. We got this side concealers of various kinds and colorings to do different things. We've got our bronzers over here, so no matter your complexion, you'll find something that works for you. And then in the center here, we've got our highlighters and we've got our blushes. So, yes, there we go. There we go. Drum rolls and ta-das. There we go. Drum roll. Ta-da! Okay, so let's play. So I'm going to start out with a concealer. Well, if I can get the little plasticky thing off. Oh, that's taped on too. Okay. Note to self. This thing is secure. Okay, so here's our concealers. So I mentioned before that we were going to talk a little bit about what different concealers do. So we're going to start out with a lighter one under the eye, and then we're going to move to a couple of funky ones, and I think I've already poked my finger in one. So I'm going to start out with, let's do this one right here. I feel like that's kind of close to my skin tone. Okay, so they're a little creamy, but not like gooey creamy. So as a combo skin, I think this will actually work pretty good. And they sort of dry down a little bit, so that's nice. Okay, so we've got the green here. The green is going to be for redness. So I'm going to grab that green. I got redness happening here. I know it's going to look whack for a second, but hang on. I got redness here. I got a little bit of redness up here. I got some redness here. Now, I sort of look like the Bride of Frankenstein at this point, but just hang with me. Now, this one here, this red, this is going to be for darker, bruisey-ish kind of colors. So I'm going to use this. I got that darkness happening in here. So I'm going to put that red on the inside there, and I'm just going to feather that out. Okay. So now we look a little weird. We got the green on the redness. We got the red on the darkness. And then we've got the regular concealer. I actually have a concealer thing there. Yesterday, you got to love it when you do a makeup podcast and you get an acne thing like the day before your podcast is due to go live. Yeah, it's a super special bonding moment. Okay, so now we've got some strange looking concealers on our face. Let's see how well they play together. So each one of those is designed to mask a certain area. It's using the color wheel and playing on opposites. So I'm going to grab my beauty blender, which is already dampened, my Juvia's Place I Am Magic Velvety Matte Foundation, and I'm going to get that on just a little bit on the tip of that. So we're just going to tap that in a couple spaces. We're going to blend that out up into our hairline. Working around the brows. And I feel like today I got just a little too less foundation on there. That doesn't usually happen. I usually end up with too much. So I'm just going to tip just a little bit on there. Working around that nose and lip, under the skin to blend out. Under the skin. Not under the skin. That sounds freaky. We're going to do under the chin. Okay, I'm going to use the tip of that. Because we use that red, I'm going to use the tip of that to really blend in there in that corner. Getting around the nostrils. Okay, so you can see now that you can't see any of that red. You can't see any of that green. And you can't see where my darkness or redness was. Everything is just like an even color now. And so that is what we are really... You know what I just realized? Oh my goodness. Oh, thank you. That the music that is playing... Hold on. I just realized that I left off... these two lights. I was like, why does it seem so dark right here? Because I didn't turn two of the lights on. Okay, so yes, the background music that we are listening to right now is actually, let's see. I think it's The Wisdom That Brings Peace. It's the one that we did for, okay, it's a second to last one from chapter 3. Okay, there we go. There were two song titles in a row that had the word wisdom in there. So it's not the wisdom that gives peace, it's the other one. Okay. So now we're all blended out. We've got that little acne thing on the tip of my nose covered up. There we go. I thought I removed that. I think it's been like this all morning. We got a little bit of technical difficulty stuff going on. It's a little bit driving me crazy. We had like 2 Google Chrome updates in a row, and they've just not been playing nicely. So I'm going to grab my MAC Studio Fix. We're just going to set that, all the concealer and the primer that we got. So we're going to use that little puff. And I'm going to do like I did last week. I'm going to use the puff to get around the eye area. But then I'm going to switch to the brush on that little netting screen and do it that way. I think it's a little bit of a faster set, if you ask me, than the way that the puff does. So let me go ahead and grab a powder brush. So it's got that nice little net there. You're just going to set it down in there, and it's going to get that powder on the brush. And then you don't have to do that tap off and all that. Now, I was looking the other day. I know that's always such a dangerous thing. I was looking the other day at Juvia's Place on Amazon. There's a link to that on the website too. But in the Juvia's Place on Amazon, in her silky something something powder that she's done. She being Chi Chi, she's introduced a new pink one that I hadn't seen before, and so I'm going to be interested to try that one. The lavender or pink powders do really good at illuminating and lifting, and so I can't wait to try that, like in the under eye area, and see how that really lifts that area under the eye. Okay, and I really do. That concealer actually worked remarkably well. It didn't go into fine lines and wrinkles under the eye area. I don't see any like pooling so far. We'll see how it goes throughout the course of the day and how we like that kind of in the long term. So let's go ahead and grab our palette again. The You Can Be multi-use, what was that called? Multi-use face palette. So now we're going to go into the bronzers. So I think I'm going to do this one right here for today. Let's try that and see. And then I think we'll play in this blush, and then I think we'll finish it off with this highlighter right here. So let's start out with that bronzer brush. We're using the It Cosmetics. This is a dual-ended foundation brush. We're going to use this end for the bronzer, minus the cat. There we go. So I'm just going to get that right there. We're going to go from the ear to the corner of the eye, staying above that hollow of the cheek there. Let's see if this one's going to be dark enough. Oh, yeah. That's nice. It reminds me of the color of I think it's called Amber in the Fenty line. Just a nice, cool, a lot of times when you see bronzer or lowlights, they've got a lot of redness to them, which is great if you have red in your skin tone. But if you're like me and you got nothing but like white in your skin tone, because I'm a neutral, so it's a little harder sometimes to find a low that works that doesn't make you turn yellow or doesn't make you turn red. So I actually really like this color. We're going to go right beside the nose here. Now that's a pretty light. So for me, who usually has a little more of a glam look, that's going to be a little mild. So I'm going to go ahead and tap in that darker one for a second. Let's hit that outside corner. But that's even a nice cool too. So especially if you're looking for a cool palette, this is definitely a good palette. Okay, so now we've got the lows on there. Let's go ahead and grab our blush brush. And for blush, we're going to be in this one right here today. So we're just going to a little bit on that. And I want to say, great question. I want to say the palette was like right around 15, like $14.50 or something. And who knows, Amazon, I think we're like 3 days away from Black Friday. So maybe the You Can Be palette will go on sale. All right, now we're going to grab our highlighter brush. Doop. This is an Anastasia highlighter brush. And actually, I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go in this one here. I'm afraid that one might be a little too flashy for what we're doing. I take that back because we are going to have a little silver on our lid. So let me go ahead and do that top one. We're going to go right here, right beside the temple. I see a little bit of sparkle. You're going to have to work a little bit with that. It is a little subtle, which is great. If what you like is subtle, that's amazing. There we go. Okay. I like it. I'm impressed so far. I definitely like the concealers. Let me close up the palette. There we go. We're going to set that aside. That was a fun little 4-in-1 palette. Okay, so now let's go ahead and we're going to say our verse together, and then we're going to do our lips. So the verse is, oh man, and I love the lipstick for today. I hope you're excited about it too. It's just beautiful. It's a neutral fall kind of color. Okay, so our verse is now scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and fight for it deep inside yourselves. Sorry, I'm talking faster than it's going. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to kill to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. And this is James 4:1 verses 2. Okay, so let us play with two things. We're going to have two different MAC products today. We're going to be playing with the, what is that called? Chestnut lip liner. Nice brown. And then we're going to dive into the velvety, what is that called? Velvet. No. Hold on. It's called Antique Velvet. I knew the word velvet was in there somewhere. So then we're going to use the Antique Velvet lipstick. And this is that's a very nice matte. So we're going to start out with the Chestnut Pencil. And today we don't have any ombre or anything like that. Just a straightforward lip because we've got some fun happening on the eyelids. So here we go. We're going to start out in the middle. Give yourself a nice V so you got a center point to work off of. And then just outside the lip line, we're going to round that out to the outside corner. There we go. Now we're going to start in the bottom in the center, and then we're going to round that up to the outside corner. Okay, make sure both sides are even. You like the shape you just created. Nice. And you don't have to feather this one out or blend anything here because the lipstick is almost just about the same color as the liner we just did. So we're going to start out on that top, get that Cupid's bow, and then fill that in. So you can see that just blends in nice with that lip liner. So using the lip liner where you got a little more control, things can be a little more perfection defined. So use that lip liner and then fill that in. Using a lip liner also gives you a better chance for not having lipstick bleed out. And yes, the answer to that is, of course, you can use a lip brush if you would like. The advantages of a lip brush is you can be more precise with it. The drawback is it takes you a little extra time. So do what works for you and what is easiest for you to do. So now we're going to switch to our eyes and let's do the Wahala 2 palette. So where are we going to be living in the Wahala 2 today? Today we're going to start a little bit in Lit right here. Then we're going to move over to Yab over here. Just a nice light-ish pink color. A little kind of mauve-y peachy. So we're going to go into Lit right here. Then we're going to head over to ASAP down here. We're going to just contour a little bit that eyelid, especially for those of us that have hooded eyes. And we're going to be in that Oya right here. And then we're going to end it off with some Gobi, which is going to be our little bit of shimmer. We're going to take it up just a notch with just a tidge of that in there. So we're going to start out with an just a blending fluffy brush. And this one is the Morphe. Let's see if I can read brushes today. M4, 60 or 41. One of those. So we're going to start out in that Lit right here. We just need a little bit right up here on that eyebrow bone right there. Just going to give us something to blend into. So kind of a colorless color. You could also use your highlighter up here if you would like to. I'm just going to get that Lit right there. You can see it doesn't really offer a whole lot of color. We're just kind of giving it a fleshy thing right there. Okay, Rachel's got a question for us. Rachel's question is, just out of curiosity, at what age did everybody start wearing makeup? All right. So just give that a shout out. What platform you were on? I know I started. Well, for me, my parents gave it sort of to me progressively. And so I started out in seventh, eighth grade. I could wear like powder and a little lip gloss. And then when I hit high school, I was allowed to do some other things. And then, somewhere around 10th grade, it was Ollie Ollie Oxenfree. So it just, it sort of trickled in for me. So what about you guys? What you got? I'm going to use an all-over shadow brush. This is a MAC. Sometimes your palette will come with a sponge in it. This is a good sponge applicator kind of thing. We're going to go into this right here, which is the Yab. Okay, I got a couple of 13s happening here. There you go. I'm going to get shadow on both sides of that. We're going to put that in the inside half of our lid for today. And then I know I'm going to use it as kind of a blend out color as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and tap it right up here on that bone is kind of a pre-blend out. So same thing on the other side. Just getting that Yab right in here. There we go. Just blending up into that color. And we are going to come back and fix it a little bit. So if you get a little too far like this, you can touch it up now if you want to, but we'll come back to it here in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to add a little bit of that ASAP. So I'm going to, this is a blending brush. It's a little, kind of a large blending brush. This is a Morphe, and we're going to do M321 on this one. So we're going to start out in that ASAP on the outside. Man, my eye is really watering today. I don't know what y'all's weather is where you are at, but we got some stuff happening here. Let's see. We got... Okay, we got some... I think I didn't start playing with it till 14 or 15. Historical records don't go back that far. Oh my gosh. According to archaeologists. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we got some fun things. I got another 15, couple 16s happening. Okay, so we're gonna go, we got this brush, we're gonna go into the ASAP right here. Just gonna get it on like one side. These are very pigmented. This one's a darker color. We don't want to have any fallout from that. So better to do lightly and do it a couple of times. So we are actually, there you go. Okay. So we're going to do the other half of the lid with this. And you can leave it with a little bit of a line there because we're going to come back with the goby on there. So you don't need to worry too much about that. So we're going to put it there halfway. Whatever's left on your brush, we're going to go from the top of that and we're just going to bring it over here a little bit. Just a little bit. Okay, same thing on the other side. Using that ASAP right here, filling in halfway. Whatever's left on your brush, right there on that socket bone, you're just going to come over a little bit. And again, you don't need to worry about perfection just yet. We'll blend out and fix all that up here in just a minute. We're just getting some color deposited. Okay. So now we want to use a little bit darker color, a little bit darker of the brown. We're going to go into the Oya right here, but we want to be a little more controlled with it. So I'm going to use a defining brush. This is the Morphe M213. It's a little bit longer than the one we usually use under the eye. because we wanted to have a little movement to it, but we want to be able to control. I'm so sorry, my eye is just watering like crazy. But we want to be able to control it. So that's why we got this one. So we're going to go into the Oya right here. I'm just getting it on the tip of that brush. We're going to get it right here on the outside. It's a little bit darker than the ASAP. And then we're going to come up and just add some intensity to that outside corner. Now, I don't want too much color here, so whatever I have left on here, I'm going to go from here and I'm just going to come over in one motion, just a little bit. There. Any fallout that you have, go ahead and grab your fluffy brush. Before it becomes a part of your makeup, you can do that. If your eye is watering like a crazy person like mine, go ahead and get that. Okay, so we're going to do that same thing. Just getting it on the tip. Going from the outside, right on that lash line, to the middle of the lid there. Getting it on the tip of that brush. We're just going to fill in that outside, just that outer little piece there. I'm going to tap it just a little bit. I'm going to go from the outside right here. Just going to bring it in, whatever's left on it, just a little bit. Okay, fluffy brush. There you go. So now we've got a little bit of a hint of definition going on there. We're going to go back to the pink that we used here, which is the Yab. We're going to get it just on the tip. And right where that ASAP and that Yab meet, we're just going to go back and forth and blend that out a little bit. If you want a little more of the brown going up, go ahead and grab whatever's left on your brush from what we put the ASAP on with and go over that right there, just like that. That's going to soften that out. I'm going to go ahead and come back with just a little bit of that lit. Just going to lighten that up right there. All right. So now we're going to grab a blender. That's the shorter blender. This one is the M50. I can't tell if that's an 8 or a 6. This one's a little bit shorter. Works really good under the eye. So we're going to do that. We're going to add a little bit of that ASAP and Yab to the under the eye. So just on the tip of that, I'm going to get a little bit. We're going to go from the outside corner about halfway here. Okay, let's see what we got here. I see laughing. Oh, okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and come up around that corner. Make sure those are blending together. Again, I'm in the ASAP still. I'm going to go into that, what was that called? Oya? Right here. Just a little tiny, right here on that outside corner. Just a little bit. I just want to give a little intensity to that outside corner. Okay, now I'm going to either switch brushes, same kind of brush, or you can dust off the one that you have. And now we're going to go into the Yab. Just on the tip of that. Woo! Don't drop your palette. Right here. That's going to go from the ASAP that we put. We're mimicking the color that's on the top. We're going to go about halfway. Just sort of go back and forth right where those two colors are to blend and mix them together. Now you're like, Wendy, what's happening up here? It's kind of a mess. Oh my gosh, I forgot. We need to do something up here. Okay, so here we go. Grab the brush that you were using with the yab. And we're just gonna, we don't need to do too much. We're just gonna go back and forth just a little tiny bit. It's just gonna soften a smidge because here comes the fun part. You ready for this? Here we go. We got Gobi right here, right? Get this. Look at that. And right where those two colors meet, we're just gonna put some of that Gobi right there. Right there. There you go. Nice. There you go. Can you see that? Nice little shimmer right there in the center of the lid. Well, that looks nice, Wendy. Is that all you're going to do with it? Why, no, it's not. Okay, so we're going to grab... I'm going to use a liner brush, actually, because I don't want the control of this glitter to get away from me. So I'm going to grab a liner brush, and I'm just going to get it on one side. So only one side is going to get just a little bit of that right here. And we're going to go under the eye, right in the middle. And we're just going to get that right there. Again, mimicking what's on the top. I feel like this is not sticking as well on the bottom as it did on top. There we go. That's a little better. And we're just going to wipe out. You got any glitter fall out? That's okay. Now we've got a little on the top and the bottom. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This has been so fun. Look at that. I just really like that. Okay. Now, I do notice on the inside of my eye right here, need to do a little blend. There we go. Let's add some black eyeliner so that we can get our look finished here. I'm going to grab the Juvia's Places, the Egyptian liner in Kajal. Let me give a little sharpen on here so we can get a little better of a point. There we go. Much better. I like it a little on the dull side, but not that dull. So from the outside corner, I'm going to go all the way to the other side of that glitter. Nice. Okay, I have a question for you. How do I have blue on my finger? I'm not even using blue. Does anybody else have that happen? You're using makeup and you randomly end up with these colors on your shirt or on your hand. You're not even touching them. Okay, we're going to go from the outside corner on the bottom. We're going to go just like we did on the top to the other side of that glitter. For today, I'm going to go ahead and let's get it there. We're going to get it on that water line over here. And then we are wearing false lashes, so we're going to get that upper water line as well. There you go. Okay, and I see over here where I'm having this eye-watering thing happening. There we go. Okay, so fun, so fun. Okay, let's get our liquid liner. This is the Too Faced Better Than Sex liquid eyeliner, waterproof liquid, something, a lot of words. Okay, store that tip down so that it will always be moist on the tip for you. Oh, that's fun. And we're going to go from the outside corner. We're doing this just so that when we put our lashes on, We will have a nice runway for the lashes. It will help them to blend a little better into your natural eye. So the lashes look a little more natural. Even if you've got baboon lashes, you want them to look like they baboom and you were born with it. Yeah, that's the technical word for sure. Okay, there we go. Okay. Now, Anthea, I know we were looking for something to cheer you up today, and here you go. How can you have a bad day if you got glitter on your eyes? So, there you go. Whatever your brow product is, you're gonna go ahead and grab that. I'm using the Voluminous Original Mascara from L'Oreal, and this is the shade, I think it's, what is it called? Deep Burgundy. So the pink in the hair, burgundy on the lash. There we go. So go ahead and grab whatever your brow product is, and we'll go ahead and do that together. Now, colored mascara is an easy way if you have fashion colored hair for you to get some color to your brows so that your brows match your hair color. And so for me right now, that's going to be this deep burgundy color. And now there's so many more colored mascaras available than I think I've ever seen before. They do kind of come in and out of style, though. I had a nice one that was a pink. I think it was a Maybelline. They stopped making that, but then pink changed out of my hair, so that's okay. We're going to go in there again. When you're using the mascara as a brow product, you're kind of hovering. You're trying not to actually touch your skin. You're just trying to get those hairs covered. And then if you have, like I got a vacancy right there, there's no hair. So I'll touch the tip of it just to it a little bit. So I get the illusion that I actually have hair where I don't actually have any hair. There we go. And we're just going to make sure that we got both eyes even. The other thing beautiful about using a mascara as your brow product is that because they usually get firm, it sets your brows as well. Oh, good. I'm so glad you like that. I think I love it. Lipstick on the teeth, though. Lipstick on the teeth. Okay, we got the eye-watering thing is working against me today. That's all right. We'll keep pressing on. I'm going to just use a little blend right over here. Looks like it needs a little something. Okay, now we're going to get some mascara on. Here's the new thing. So, this is So I have the deep burgundy that I was using on my brows. This right here is the Voluminous Mascara from L'Oreal, but this is the curved brush. So you can see that, right here, that the brush on this one's got a little curve to it. And, some are straight, some are triangular. There's all different kinds of brushes. Use the one that works for you. I was going to try out the curved one today. When I was growing up, all of our mascaras had curved ones, and now everybody moved to a straight one. So, it'll go back around. But we're going to play with that today. Now that our liner has had an opportunity to set and dry down, we're going to grab our Tweezerman Onyx Great Grip Eyelash Curler, and we're going to curl our lashes and then get our mascara on and put on some lashes. So, we're going to find that sweet spot on the lash, making sure when we crimp that down together, we're not pinching our eyelid. And then we're going to say that verse together. We'll do 2 sentences of it or something. And then that will be our timer for having our brows curl. Our lashes curled. So here we go. Find that sweet spot. Got those lashes in there. Making sure you don't pinch. Here we go. Where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and Fight for it. Okay. It's mighty hard to read that while I'm trying to curl lashes today. Let's see. I tried to use a dramatic dark smoky gray and black look on my eyes yesterday and wore it to work. Oh, nice. So many compliments from pupils. Nice. That is awesome. I love to hear that from you, Anthea. Okay, so we're going to do the other side as well. So there was a little bit of a happy space in what seems to be maybe a kind of a little bit of a dark week. So that's always exciting. And thank you for being a teacher. Okay, so find that sweet spot on the other side. Okay, let's start right here. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. And that's James 4:1-2. Okay, awesome. I love that. Doing something that we did a couple of weeks ago. That is spectacular. You know, I love that. I mean, I tell you the palettes I use and all of that, but really my encouragement is to use what you have and to just use it to, wow, that is a curved one. See that? To use what you have and use it to its fullest. I think that we don't need to buy every single new palette that comes out. Most of the time, you already have those colors in a couple of palettes at your own house. So you can do all kinds of things, just changing around the order of the colors, or less colors, or more colors, and sometimes, what you're wearing is going to dictate, what shadow you're going to put on. That palette that we're using today, the Wahala 2, it has a very big range of colors. So you could do a 2-color look, you could do a 3-color look, you could get crazy and get 8 colors up in there. That would be super fun. Yeah, 8 colors, that would be fun. I have to look and see if that, I had a look I wanted to try that was kind of rainbow-esque. And I think it had, 7 or 8 colors in it. So I'll have to see if that Wahala palette will pull it off. I also like to, before I'll do, not always, but sometimes, before I'll try a new color thing, I'll draw it out. You don't gotta be fancy, but you could draw it out on a piece of paper and do blend with like colored pencils that match your eyeshadows, or just use the shadow directly on the paper. That works too. And get a feel for how they're gonna blend, how they're gonna work together on paper before you try it on your actual eyes. You can do that with lips too. In fact, if you go to Amazon and search, what is it called? Makeup tutorial paper, I think is what I looked the last time. You can actually find tablets of like 5x8 or 5.5 by 8.5 paper that have a picture of a face on them that are made just for that. If you are doing, like when I was working with the MAC artist, I should maybe stop talking because I'm getting mascara everywhere. When I was working with the MAC artist, they use that a lot to build their portfolio before they actually have people. So that gives them something to show, like glam looks to show to a potential wedding makeup application, to kind of give them, images of what they will be able to do for them when they do their makeup for their wedding or prom or homecoming or whatever. Okay. Wendy is making a mess. All right. I feel like that mascara, because it's the first time I've opened it, it didn't do a very good coverage job. Let me just go back over that. It's one of two things. When you open a tube of mascara, either you end up with a whole bunch of mascara goobing on there, or the first couple of times you use it, the wand is not quite cooperating with you, and it's very sparse. And I feel like the very sparse is what we had today with that particular one. So now we've got just a little coat of mascara on there. So we put our lashes in. They will blend beautifully with our natural lash. So I am using the Kiss Lash. Actually, I think it's upside down in the box. But anyways, this is the Kiss Lash. This one is called, what is it called? Royal Silk. And so I'm going to be using these today. These have already been trimmed. I've already used these quite a few times. And you're going to trim from the outside corner of your eye. So just kind of do a dry fit you can use your lash tool to get the lash off the tray and then just kind of hold it in place. Almost everybody is going to have to trim a little bit of lash off. They're just made so long. The other thing is, you're better off to have a lash that's a little bit shorter than you are to have a lash that's a little bit longer. Why is that? Because if the lash is a little bit longer, what's going to happen is it's going to poke you on both ends, especially because this one is a filament. So you can see it's got a clear band. So they tend to be a little, in my opinion, they tend to be a little bit more on the pokey side. So make sure that you have trimmed from the outside edge. Again, better to be a little shorter than a little bit longer. Some companies will even make a 3/4 lash so that when you're putting the lash, these are not a flare. Flares are super easy to tell what the inside is versus the outside because it's shorter on the inside. These are not that. And I got them out of order when I pulled them off the tray. Okay, so the one thing that I like about these is you got a beautiful curl. And I think it was last week, I actually showed them on the side so you could see the curl that these bad boys have. I like that because the curl really opens up the eye as it curls up. So if you have smaller eyes, these are a great choice. If you have hooded lids, these are a great choice. Any lash actually is a great choice for a hooded eye because it forces your, when you look, it forces that eye to appear it is bigger and that fold is covered up by those lashes just a little bit. So it sort of minimizes your fold of skin that you have. So definitely the more fold you have, the more you want to do that. So I'm just going to grab that lash in the middle. And I'm going to grab my strip lash adhesive. And while I'm doing this, go ahead and give me a shout out and tell me, what is your favorite false lash? Do you have a brand favorite? Do you have a style favorite? Do you always gravitate towards wispies? Do you like flares like me? What is your favorite false lash? Give me a shout out on your platform. What is your favorite false lash? While I'm doing this, I'm going to make sure I get on the outside corners of these. We want to make sure we got plenty of adhesive there so that it minimizes the ability for these lashes to lift on the outside corners. Okay, so I've got one wispy. Yeah, a great thing for the wispy lovers is get one of those kits that I think it's Allure makes that has the different kinds of wispies in there so that you can, it's like, I think it's 12 days of wispy. They'll do them for Christmas especially. And that way you can try different kinds of wispies to see which one gives you the look that you're wanting. I know a lot of times we get a little bit set in our ways. Maybe it's just me. A little bit set in our ways, and you use the same lash that you've always used, and you don't get to see how you look and how different lashes affect the visual appearance. And so I think it's super fun. About once a year, I'll take one of those 12 lash sets that has 12 different kinds. I'll take a selfie with each one of them. And then after I'm done, I'll look at those 12 ones and see which one is my favorite look. And sometimes it surprises me, even though I've done this a number of years in a row. Sometimes it surprises me that the one that's my favorite is one that I don't usually wear. So that way you can go get you a 5-pack and just keep on moving. Okay, so I'm going to grab the lash that I did first. I'm going to grab it right there in the middle. It's already started to get a little less shiny. It's gotten a little tiny clear in a couple spots. We're going to set that right down on top of that liner line. And then we're going to work it around. So I'm going to get that corner right there on that liner line. Outside corner right there on that liner line. Just going to make sure that everybody's in that same, what do you call, head space? There you go. Oh, I'm glad you're enjoying those short videos. They're actually from the videos that we're doing, like this one now. It just cuts it up and puts it into little bite-sized pieces. I think it makes it a little easier. Sometimes you don't want to watch the whole thing. But you can do a minute and a half, or something like that. So it just gives you a chance to, watch what exactly you want to watch. So I'm glad it's helpful to you. I'm going to grab that other one right there in the center. We're going to put that down right there in the center. Get that inside corner, set that down on that liner line. Get the outside corner right there on that liner line. Again, going to make sure everybody's in that same space.
It's the way you live, not the way you talk, that counts. Wisdom from above, not from pride. Peace flows.
Okay. I'm going to use that tip to make sure my lashes are blended in with those. Pressing down just a little bit to make sure we got good contact. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the magnetic ones, they're great if you're going to do a short-term thing. But when you hit about the 6-hour mark with the magnetic ones, then I start having some problems with them. The magnetism on any of the ones that I've used so far just doesn't seem to hold steady. And so you get about 8 hours in a workday and like legit your lash will just fall off because the magnetism doesn't work. So I think that they just haven't perfected those well enough yet. For me to fully enjoy those, or I guess you'd say endorse those. So the ones that I had that lasted the best were the ones where it was a top and bottom piece and they sandwiched around your lashes. Those are the ones I had that lasted the best. So unfortunately, the ones that I had when I did that, they don't make those anymore. So I found a new company. I haven't got them yet, but there's a new company I saw. I don't want to say the name just in case they're not good, but I want to try those and see how theirs are, because and it has like a little tool that does the connection for you. I would say be careful of some of those because I've seen some that are manufactured in other foreign countries. You're putting magnet near your eye, so I would stick with things made in the U.S. if at all possible, just because we want to make sure that they are sticking with the standards that are required in the United States. A lot of other countries don't have the same requirements of safety that we do. So, and Thea, I can't speak for you, and I know we have others that are in other countries, so I don't mean to speak ill of other countries. I just know I've seen a lot of things where they have taken shortcuts and used products that they're not good, and we can't use them in the U.S., and then you find out later on that you've got problems from that. So just be cautious where you get that kind of thing from, because you're putting it near your eyes and you only get one set of those. Okay, so let's see, what do we got now? Now we are going to set everything. We've got all of our color happening here. We've got our shimmer happening on our lid. We've got our false lashes on. We're going to shake up that ready, set, sealed. My bangs are like all up in my space today. So let's set that. That smells so good. All right. So we have tried out a new concealer. We tried out a new blush. We tried out a new highlighter. We loved the You Can Be 4-in-1 all over face makeup palette thing. It has a lot of words in his name. And so far, those work well. So I'll let you know with a follow-up on how these wear throughout the day. Let's see, we have added a nice MAC lip liner and lipstick. We played with the Juvia's Place Wahala 2. We've got like 5 different colors, I think it was, on our eyelids today. Little bit of shimmer to play with. We've added some Kiss false lashes, and now our face is ready to go for the day. So we are going to take a look at our Bible verses. We just finished up a review of chapter 3, and actually, because of timing for today, we're going to go, let me get, if somebody can get that there. We're going to go to just the verse for today. So our verse for today, starting chapter 4, and that is, where do you think all these appalling wars and quarrels come from? Do you think they just happen? Think again. They come about because you want your own way and fight for it deep inside yourselves. You lust for what you don't have and are willing to kill to get it. You want what isn't yours and will risk violence to get your hands on it. And again, all of our verses are going to be coming from Color Me James, available in 3 different formats. Go to colormejamesbook.com. You can find all of it there and the email list that will follow you along on your journey weekly through the book of James. And then, of course, we've got on YouTube our Beauty and Grace Insider. You can get that ebook for free. That PDF, the whole shebang, is going to be free with that Cherished Queen membership level. So make sure you check that out. And then let me send you off with a blessing this week. Yes, Anthea, definitely safety, safety, safety. You only get one pair of eyes, which is why I haven't done the LASIK surgery on my eyes, because I'm just not sure they've tested those waters well enough yet. Another conversation. Okay, so the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. And our blessing comes from Numbers chapter 6, verse 24 to 26. Oh, Heavenly Father, how thankful I am for each one of these ladies. And I just pray for those who spoke and those who didn't speak today, Father, that you would be with them, whether they are live or they are watching this later on, that you would be with them, that you would guide them, direct them, help them to listen to what the Holy Spirit has to tell them about the verses that we're working on this week, that we would yield ourselves to the instruction and righteousness that comes from your word. Father, I pray that you would be with us this week as we coloring page and crossword puzzle and send out thanks. And I just pray that this week would just be a fantastic week, and that they would have blessings showered upon them. And especially again for Anthea, that you would be with her heater and that you would be with her plumbing and just resolve all of that as quick as possible, if we may ask that. And I thank you for all these things, for all these beautiful women. And thank you for allowing us to celebrate together, being a woman, and enjoy Jesus together. And I pray in the mighty name of Jesus. Amen. All right. Well, it has been a delight to hang out with you. I look forward to seeing you throughout the week on social media. If you used a different palette from me this week, I would love to see what palette you use. So give me a shout out and tell me what palette you used, and maybe include a picture in the comment of how your look came out. I can't wait to see that. All right. So I will see you online throughout the week and again next week on social media. I pray that you guys have an absolutely fantastic week. And until next time, mwah, I love you.